Good afternoon, YouTube and TI community worldwide. I trust you're doing well. Shane Gibbs back again for another episode in my series of YouTube videos. Well, today I've been getting a couple of requests or a couple of emails just asking me and questioning me about my experiences with the corrupt mental health and corrupt NHS who are facilitating the targeting of innocent UK civilians over here in this great country of ours. So, but first off, before I go into any detail, just to let you know, the past couple of nights, specifically in this room behind me, which is where I sleep, I have been encountering some kind of, I get the tinnitus and the ringing and the popping and all that. This is completely different. It's almost like some kind of sonic signal, tone, what have you, and for the past 2 nights I've been having to actually sleep downstairs. As soon as I leave that room and go downstairs, it all stops. Oh, would you Adam and Eve that one? So yeah, it seems like I'm pissing people off. What do you reckon, you dickhead perps? I don't understand what you're trying to do. You're a bunch of mongrels. Absolutely pathetic. When are you going to man up? Huh? You're pathetic. Your weapons are pathetic. Your signals are pathetic. Your mum's pathetic. You know what? You really need to step up your game. If you really want to stop me in what I'm doing, you better step up your game, because you are absolutely becoming a laugh. In my book, you are a laughing stock. I can't actually get over how pathetically cowardly you all are. And you've got all of this power, and you've got all of this weaponry, and you've got all of this backup from doctors and police and mental health and blah blah blah. And I'm still sitting here like that. How's that grab you? You fucking mongrels. So yeah, just thought I'd document the fact that there's been some very strange sonic type signals that have been emitted into the room behind me, and hence the reason why I've had to go downstairs and sleep on the sofa for the past 2 nights. And as soon as I leave that room, it always comes on sort of like that's, I don't know, 8-9 o'clock at night when I'm maybe sitting there doing a bit of work on the computer or doing some research on YouTube, and all of a sudden this you're pathetic. Your brother's pathetic. Your dad's pathetic. Your mum's pathetic. I wonder whether your mums actually realise what you guys get up to. Who knows? There's another thing to ponder. Anyway, back to the main topic of today. I've been getting a couple of emails asking me about my experiences with the mental health scenario and the mental health situation when it comes down to this pathetic program run by pathetic people, instigated by pathetic idiots. Let me just first of all give you a little bit of background on procedure when it comes down to the medical fraternity and your interactions with the medical system in this in the UK. Prior to them picking me up on a 136, which I'll go into in more detail after I've explained this bit first, I was poisoned. And I was poisoned to the degree where I collapsed and was having full body convulsions in my home. And luckily my brother was with me, and he effectively called the ambulance, and I was rushed to A&E, where they put me on all sorts of monitors and drips and Christ knows what else. I really don't. It's all a bit of a blur. All I can remember is being basically woken up and ushered out of the bed that I had been laying in, convulsing continuously, tearing in internal organs, puking up blood, and effectively I was ushered out of the hospital. They didn't take any blood tests, they didn't take any toxicology samples. Effectively they basically stabilised me and unable to walk unassisted and still vomiting black blood, they kicked me out of the hospital. Part of the procedure, part of the protocol when somebody gets admitted to hospital with an overdose or a poisoning scenario, is that after the event, you are generally contacted by somebody from the medical profession, a psychologist or something. That never happened. Didn't get any of that. So there's that piece of corruption that. Yeah, what else can you call it? What you've got to remember is this program is designed to mimic mental health issues and mental health problems. So what they are going to try and do is they are going to try and administer in any way they can a label, a misdiagnosis, and a psychological label on you, the victim. And there's not really a lot you can do about that, to be honest with you. Not with the way the laws are and the laws stand in this country. Obviously, the people that make the laws are as corrupt as the people that uphold the laws. And so effectively, what actually happened is after the poisoning event, I then went around my local town and I printed 10,000 of these little flyers. I then administered them all around Ashford, my hometown, and local area for about a week or so. About a week or so after that, I was coming home from a business meeting in Surrey, where I was. I've showed the video of the police patrol car running me off or trying to cause a severe accident, and possibly, I'd say that it was probably an attempted murder scenario. Not only for myself, but obviously with the amount of traffic that was involved on the road at that time, which is shown in the video that I've actually shown on. I'm not going to show it again today. If I had have not been in control of the whole scenario and the situation, then what's saying that I could have lost control of the vehicle, which was a big Land Rover Discovery, turned it, rolled it, smashed it into the central reservation, and not only killed myself, but also killed any other drivers that were around me at the specific time. So well done, Kent County Constabulary. There's another one to add to your list, you fucking dickheads. Ooh, language shame. I must watch my language. Well, anyway, after the motorway incident, 2 weeks after that, I was walking my dog, as I've mentioned in previous videos, and effectively, as I came out of the woods, I was accosted by 2 police officers holding and brandishing tasers. There was an ambulance on the field as I came out of the woods, and effectively, they told me that I was going with them whether I liked it or not. Part of the protocol, if you are genuinely mentally ill or mentally disturbed, is that they are supposed to notify your next of kin immediately. Well, guess what? They took my dog home. They chucked my dog in the garden. I was actually residing as a refugee after the poisoning in my mother's home when she still lived when we still lived in Ashford. Effectively, what happened was, they took my dog off me. They put me in the ambulance and took me off to the Nut House or the St Mary's Hospital in Canterbury, where they dosed me up with all sorts of mind-bending drugs, and it was disgusting. It was absolutely crazy. Effectively, that's where I stayed in some kind of comatose state for about 4 or 5 days. Nobody contacted my family. They knew where I lived. I informed everybody where I lived. They knew where I lived anyway. What actually happened was when my mother, because my mum was working nights at the time, so when she got up, she was a little bit distressed to find that I wasn't there, and even more distressed when she discovered Ted cowering underneath the garden table in the back garden. She was completely oblivious to where I was. I didn't have any mobile phone. I didn't have any wallet. I didn't have any contact. I was walking the dog, playing with sticks in the woods with the dog. God bless him. So effectively, that's where I remained in this with the clothes that I actually stood up in. I was actually having to hand wash my underwear and my clothes on a daily basis because they hadn't made my family aware of where they had taken me. After about 5 days, I realised my head sort of came round, and I knew that what they was drugging me with was causing some real severe problems with my line of thought. So effectively, I stopped taking the medication. Effectively, I would line up as the little school dinner line type scenario that used to take place, and I used to put the pills and I'd drop them in and I'd put them under my tongue, and as soon as I got back to the communal area, I'd go to the toilet and spit them down the toilet. That then brought my senses back. So effectively, after 6 days, I believe, I actually came up. I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I needed to make my family aware of where I was. My poor mum and my other family members actually thought I was dead. So after 6 days of, I think it was about 3 or 4 days of they was dosing me up with all of this nasty, disgusting medication, I stopped taking the medication, and my line of thought and my clarity came back. I then thought, right, Shane, how are you going to make your family aware of where you are and what's happening and what they've done to you? So effectively, I came up with the idea to phone a local Ashford taxi firm, and effectively what I did is I explained the situation, and I sort of said to them that you need to go around to this address, you need to speak to this person, you need to tell them who is instructed you to do that, and you also need to ask them to give you my mobile phone and my wallet that was up in the bedroom. That is how I made my family aware of the illegal incarceration of myself within a mental health facility here in Kent. So effectively, that's where I stayed for the following, at that stage, luckily and thankfully to United Taxis in Ashford, their operator agreed to my request. They went round to my mum's property where I was residing, and they informed her exactly what I'd instructed them to. They then was given my wallet and my mobile phone. My brother then contacted the hospital and came up that very same day. The taxi driver brought my wallet and my mobile phone up, and I paid him and a tip out of my wallet. And I must thank United Taxis for carrying out that request for me, because if they hadn't done that, then I really wouldn't have any idea of how I would have made my family aware of the situation at hand. So effectively, from that point on, I stopped taking all medication. None at all. I didn't take one further pill. I put it in, consumed under my tongue, straight down the toilet. I remained in that hospital for nearly 2 months. There was people coming and going. I had members of staff and nursing teams were saying, Shane, what are you doing here? Why are you in here? And I obviously didn't want to go into it in too much detail, but by that time I had my wallet, and in my wallet I had a couple of pictures of Dino, a couple of the small posters of what I'd been posting around the Ashford area, and I explained to them the reasonings why I had been falsely imprisoned in the mental health facility and given sort of the medication to obviously shut me up, because I was obviously becoming a bit of a problem. And obviously at that stage as well, because the program is designed to mimic mental health, the best thing and the only thing that they can actually do is to get you into a facility, get a corrupt doctor in front of you to give you a misdiagnosis. Apparently they had, what did they say? I had a temporary case of severe depression. No, you dickhead. I was a targeted individual. I wasn't given any opportunity to actually talk about the targeting, any opportunity to talk about what had happened prior to all of the instances, the home invasions, the gang stalking, the etc., the poisoning, the beating of the dog, etc., 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 etc. After 2 weeks, I was called in to see a doctor in the hospital, and effectively the doctor said to me, Shane, he said we are so pleased with you with the progress that you're making, that we're going to double the medication that I wasn't taking. Work that one out. So obviously, I knew the avenue that they was going down. So effectively, they doubled the dosage of all of the medication, Depakote, olanzapine, and diazepam, which I didn't take one single pill of after 4 or 5 days in that facility. So how on earth, after 2 weeks, can they come up with the conclusion that they're very pleased with me and very pleased with the way that I'm progressing, and my mental health was being fixed by these disgusting mind-bending anti-psych medicines and tablets, etc., etc., that they thought that they would double it. I just agreed and carried on with my own personal agenda, carried on spitting the pills out down the toilet, never took another pill from that whole time, and that's where I, like I say, I remained in that facility for nearly 2 months under lock and key. And effectively what it was, I mean, there were some really ill people in that place, and yeah, not very pleasant places to be. You know, I literally, I went and purchased, you was allowed like escorted visits here and there and down the town and stuff, so I thought, right, okay, let's get myself a DVD player and get myself some DVDs and get my music, etc, etc. And I literally stood in the background and stayed in my room watching DVDs, contacting people. I actually used Facebook as well quite a lot, once I had my BlackBerry, and just to make people aware of the scenario and the situation that was going on. There was numerous meetings with doctors, and they was like, oh yeah, we're really pleased with your progress, etc, etc. And I wasn't taking any medication. So how was that progress coming about? Come to that one for a moment. So effectively, after about a month, I was actually like a member of staff there. There was a couple of rogue members of staff there that I actually put in full written complaints to the department manager, which got them actually moved on to a different hospital, begrudgingly by them. You know, I think I was the only one. I was actually told by the manager that in his whole 7 years, he'd never actually had a patient actually write such a intellectual clarification of situations that I was encountering. So yeah, I was very sick, wasn't I? You fucking idiots. Language 2 feet. So effectively, it just went on and on and on. The staff were coming in on a daily basis, and I was like, Shane, what are you doing here? Why are you here? And I was like, well, you tell me. You tell me. I then started effectively acting like a member of staff there. All of the new inpatients that were coming in, they would literally get me to start getting in to speak to them and open them up and get them to have showers and get them to clean their clothes and shave them. I even actually gave a couple a haircut. So I was actually working like a paid member of the mental health team in that facility for about nearly a month. After just under 2 months, they agreed to discharge me after the just prior to the second tribunal that had been called up, and that was the end of that. I then had every angle and every request to speak to a counsellor declined, even though it was I went to the doctor and said, look, I need to speak to somebody about the whole scenario and the whole situation. Everything was shut down. They would not let me speak to any counsellors. They would not let me speak to anybody about the whole scenario, why I was in the hospital, what had happened prior to them putting me in the hospital with the drugging and the police running me off the road and getting arrested for stealing my own car, and etc, etc. I mean, they have left such an absolutely obvious trail of evidence. They have failed to follow procedure on many occasions, not only with the poisoning but with the whole mental health scenario and situation. And I can confirm that I've had no contact from the Ashford mental health team since I've been here in Sheerness. There was it's funny enough that the only contact I had, there was some dickhead. I don't know what he was, don't even know what his station was. He actually left a voicemail on my phone saying that they were taking me off of their books. Didn't bother responding, didn't bother getting back in touch with them. Effectively, they are part of the problem. So effectively, what happened was they fakely and falsely imprisoned me against my will. So every other attempt to kill me and poison me and run me off the road and to basically shut me up, they thought that they would stick me in this facility for 2 months on some of the most disgusting, some of the guys that were taking this medication, if I had carried on taking it, they used to actually walk around the place with adult nappies on because they used to shit themselves. They couldn't control their bowels. That's the level of medication that they administer into people, into them places. They are dark, nasty, horrible facilities, and yeah, that will stay with me. That trauma will stay with me for the rest of my days. I knew what the situation was. I acted accordingly, and after nearly 2 months, I was released. Like I mentioned, I'm on. Like I say, I have no direct contact with the mental health, corrupt mental health team from Ashford. There's. Like I mentioned in previous videos, all of the over harassment has stopped since I've lived here in Sheerness. Everything. No more getting chased off motorways, no more poisonings. There's been a little bit of drugging going on in the early days here, but once I discover that, then obviously I act accordingly to counteract that. So you need to be very, very careful. Effectively, what they will do is they are urgently and desperately looking to get targeted individuals misdiagnosed and labelled with some kind of disorder. You need to try and stay away from that. That will not do you any good whatsoever. Once they've labelled you, they get you on the medication. In the amount of people that I know that have been through the mental health system falsely, there's nothing wrong with these people. They're targeted individuals that are administered antipsychotic medication, monthly injections, depot injections. I think Phil's still on the depot injections that he has once a month, and there's nothing wrong with the guy. This is how deep this goes. This is how corrupt this goes. This is how high up the corruption goes. So you need to be very, very aware of what they will try and do to you, especially if you're quite fresh into this program. They will literally try and work you into the mental health system. They will misdiagnose you, they will get you on medication, and effectively they will hope that at that stage that was where you will then remain, effectively, because the medication will mess your head up, and it'll also make you mess your pants, like it did all the guys in the hospital when I was a turned out to be quite quite a lengthy holiday under lock and key, but I had my own room, I had my own DVD player, I took the stereo in there, I took half a wardrobe of clothes in there. I had, effectively I was almost like a team leader in there. I could control and work with the patients probably 50–60% more efficiently than the people that actually work there could. Work that one out. So yeah, just be very, very careful of the mental health stigma, because they will try and get you into that scenario where they will misdiagnose you, and then they can start saying that everything you're saying is delusional, and you're delusional, and delusional this and delusional that. How boring! How absolutely disgustingly boring! You know what? This program really does bore the poxy tits off me, or chest I should say. Rah, rah, rah. So yeah, there's the clarification. They failed to follow procedure. They failed to contact my next of kin, or my mother where I was staying. My family actually thought I was dead. They had no idea where I was. I was literally 20 miles down the road, locked up under lock and key on heavy antipsychotic medication. And like I said, after about 4 days, I stopped taking all medication, and I didn't take another pill the whole time I was there. That was when my clarity returned and my line of thought returned, and I got back to my normal frame of mind. Yeah, more corruption. Corruption after corruption, procedure failure after procedure failure. They have literally tried everything in the book to try and get rid of me, or shut me up, or quiet me down. It's obvious. It's obvious what they're doing with these. Like I mentioned prior, I've had to sleep downstairs for the past 2 nights because of the sonic, whatever it is that's being fired into this room, and it's only in this room. As soon as I leave that room, it disappears when I go downstairs, and I can sleep soundly. So yeah, there's a basic short rundown of the situation when it comes down to my experiences with the corrupt mental health system within the targeted individual program here in the UK. So yeah, any questions, then please feel free to drop me a comment or an email. Same again. That's enough of that. All that sort of stuff. Just dragging up all them memories is not good. And but what it does do is it gives you an idea of how corrupt the system actually is, and what lengths they will go to, or what depths they will drop to actually get you into the system and get you labelled and get you on some disgustingly, really nasty, disgusting antipsychotic medication. That stuff is not good for you. It is not good for you as a person. It's not good for you for your mind. It's not good for anything. The only thing it's good for is sticking down the psychiatrist's necks. Effectively, you're working with some very, very sick and disturbed people that are in seats of power and seats of authority. And once you've been picked up, and what they use here in the UK is they picked me up on what was called a 136 when I was walking the dog in the morning. And effectively, they can do that at will with anybody. They can literally pull up in a car, pick you up from walking down the street. If you're wherever you are, they can fabricate a story like they did with me. They said they found me digging in the earth and screaming in the sky when I came walking out of the woods with my dog, playing sticks. They will fabricate, they will lie, they will then, after that situation, they will close down any avenue that you possibly could be using to actually speak about the situation that you'd experienced. I.e., all of the counselling, all of the doors were shut. Even outside organisations that I'd lined up counselling, I would then be ready to go along to a counselling meeting, and an hour before the meeting, I'd get a phone call saying, sorry, they cannot take on, they cannot speak, they cannot see me, they cannot offer me any counselling, and they do not want anything to do with me. So yeah, there you go. There's the experience that I had with the mental health facility and the mental health system here in the UK as a targeted individual, or a targeted survivor, as I like to call us. So I hope that that clarifies a few things. I don't, that medication will send you doolally twat. It will do you no good whatsoever. I'm not saying that all of the people that work in the mental health system in this country are as corrupt as the ones that I encountered, but there is certainly, most definitely, if you think about it, the program's designed to mimic mental health. So the best thing that they can do is, if they fail to kill you after several attempts, then the only option they've got is to try and get you into a facility like they did with me, administer endless amounts of this dangerous antipsychotic medication, and then hopefully that will then mess your mind up to the fact where you will then remain in the system, crapping yourself, because the medication allows you not to control your own bodily movements and bowel movements, etc. I mean, it was sad, that place. I mean, the amount of guys that were coming in, it was an all-man unit thing they stuck me in. And there was guys literally walking, and they would, and this is the thing, some of the guys would wake up in the morning, and we'd go and have a smoke break or a cup of tea, and they'd all be fine, and they'd all be like coherent, and just like I am now. And then as soon as they medicated them, they would then turn into zombies that would walk around with their head down. They would shuffle along, literally shuffle along. A lot of them used to have to wear adult nappies because they couldn't control their bowels, and they then remained in the zombie state until later on in the afternoon. I would then watch them all then come back round, and the alertness, I would notice the alertness coming back to them, and then obviously the medication would be given to them again, and given to us again in the evening. I obviously never took, and they would then be turned once again back into foot shuffling, shit your pants type zombies. This is what they do. That's how they do it. So be very, very, very careful. So on the that's enough about that side of things. All of that, all dragging up all these memories is not not good for me. And but it's all part of the journey of my targeting, and the procedure that they failed to follow on numerous occasions is what's going to be obviously play a big part in my evidence as and when I do put a case together and start looking for retribution. So I hope all you guys are doing well out there. Just on another note as well, I mean, since my last video, I've had over 50 UK TIs come through to me by email to be put onto the database. So please keep that coming. Keep your information coming in. Email me your details if you want to go onto the database. shanegibbs212@gmail.com. If you want to get involved with the National Flyer Campaign, I've got another 1,250 flyers to post out this afternoon. Hence the reason why I'm rushing a little bit, because I've got to do some banking. I've got to go to the post office to get these flyers off. I've got to go and have a workout. I've got to go and do a couple of jobs and tasks for other bits and pieces. So if you want your details to be put onto the survivors, the UK survivors database, then please email me your details or leave me a comment, and I'll give you the email address: Shane Gibbs, ShaneGibbs, excuse me, 212@gmail.com, and drop me an email. I'll then correspond and get back to you straight away. And obviously, like I mentioned in previous videos, it's a bit of it's got a couple of agendas, the database. Not only will it it's getting, I mean, after the book's nearly filled up, and I knew that was going to be the case, and more victims are coming through to me on a daily basis. And I'll tell you what's really nice is I'm getting a hell of a lot more contact from targeted survivors that have been going through this alone and never spoke about the issues that they're dealing with to anybody. I'm the first person that they've actually contacted. So that, to me, is such a feel-good factor, to know that people have got faith in what I'm saying. They've got faith and in the knowledge that I'm looking to help expose this and get this program acknowledged. We need to get this acknowledged first. We also need to find out exactly how many TIs are, or to a degree, how many. We're never going to find out exactly, because there's got to be hundreds, possibly thousands of victims that don't even realise they're targeted. And keep coming through with your details. You know, the more the merrier. I'm on the phone constantly, I'm emailing constantly, I'm adding new details into the survivor database constantly on a daily basis. The flyers, like I mentioned in the previous email, I've ordered another 10,000. That's 40,000 that's been purchased, and once they go out, I'll obviously carry on and keep whacking it out there. There's not going to be no cut-off point for the flyers. The flyers need to be covered everywhere. The flyers need to go the width and breadth of the UK. Not only the UK, you know, we've got Peter over in Belgium that's flying TI television flyers over there in Belgium, and they're over in America. I've got some in a couple have been sent to other European countries. So yeah, let's keep the ball rolling. Keep sending me your details for the UK survivors database. One that will give me some kind of idea of how many TIs that are actually, if anything, viewing my videos and coming through to TI television. But it'll also give me the opportunity to start linking some of you guys up, so you can then start forming your own local TI support groups in your local vicinities. So that just about covers what I wanted to run over with you guys today. I trust you're all doing as well as you possibly can be. Never give in. Be defiant. Defiance is our biggest weapon. Defiance and exposure are our two biggest weapons. Defiance and exposure. Never give in. Never give up the fight. Tomorrow's always a new day. So YouTube, thanks very much for allowing this content to be shown on your platform. And TIs remain strong. The only reason I've done this video today, and it seems a little bit rushed, is because I've got so much to do. But I've been getting some questions about my experiences with the whole mental health system, and how corrupt it's been within my targeting scenario, my targeting story. So until next time, I will hopefully be back to you in the next couple of days with another video. And yeah, haters, keep hating. You know what? I love a couple of thumbs downs. So the more the merrier. The weird thing is I'm getting these thumbs downs, but I'm not getting no negative comments. So it's actually nice to know that these people that are disliking what I'm saying, they're disliking it so much that they seem to be watching every video. You muppets. Anyway, yeah, hi to the haters. Hi to all of you subscribers, all the viewers, and you know, the amount of response that I'm getting, not only through my channel but through TI, through to TI TV as well, or TI television as well. We are going from strength to strength to strength. You know, every day the numbers are coming in. Every day the network and the community is getting bigger. Reach out. You need to reach out if you want peace of mind, if you want support, if you want to be added into the database, if you want to get involved with the National TI Television Flyer campaign. You must reach out. You need to break the silence, break the isolation bubble, break free. Come through to us. We will then log your details. We will then get back in touch, and we'll get around to interviewing and getting as many of your testimonies down on film and put up onto TI television as we possibly can. But we're very limited. We're very limited indeed. So hence the reason why I'm suggesting putting these local groups together. And we are getting there. We are getting there, and we will get there. It won't be as quick and as efficient as I would love it to be, but at least we're moving forward in small motion, even if it's just you know, just by the people coming through to me and the comments that I'm getting, and you know, it just gives me strength. And with the idiots doing this new Sonic, whatever the fuck it is, I really don't know, but it's not very nice. It actually vibrates. You can actually hear it vibrating down into your and it's not the internal tinnitus. This is completely separate. You can hear it vibrating, and it actually it's really bizarre. I'm just gathering it must be some kind of so it's definitely some kind of sonic signal. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't really care what it is. All I know is that there's some little, probably fat, spotty little tech guy sitting in a room going, oh yeah, let's try this one, and let's try this one, and let's try this one. But it's weird how it's only coming through to this room. More Pacific targeting. I'm obviously getting up there. I'm obviously getting right up their noses, and I'll tell you what, I ain't going nowhere. So you continue with your little probes and your little stupid signals and all the other BS that you try and administer into my life on a daily basis, and all it will do is instill me to continue what I'm doing. It will instill more persistence. I will never give in. So you're wasting your time. I told you, and I'll tell you again, the worst thing that you ever done was allow me to leave Ashwood alive. And even then, I mean, the amount of attempts on my life, and you couldn't even do that. How efficient are you, mongrels? You can't even kill one bloke. Poisonings, running me off the motorways, trying to blow me up with open petrol cans because you knew I was smoking at that particular time. Yeah, how pathetic are you? How pathetic are you? And does your mum know how pathetic you are? Look you. How's that grab you dirty mongrels? So yeah, you keep probing. You keep everything you do will only instill more persistence, more. I'll never give in. I will never give. I've only just started. So you crack on. You carry on with your pathetic little stupid, no touch, whatever you want to call it. You're having no effect. The only effect you're having is you're making me stronger. So I must thank you for that. So you continue. Not that I need to be too much more stronger, because I'm quite a strong lad as it is. But you keep probing. You keep doing your bits and pieces and your stupid, pathetic stuff that you do. You are having no effect other than making me more persistent, making me more adamant that you won't and will never beat me, no matter what you do. And look at everything you've done over the years. You failures. You were born to fail. You will fail. And you're all a bunch of stinking, rotten, fat, spotty cowards. Parasitic cowards. So how's that grab you, you dirty mongrels? So on that note, TIs, I will leave it there because I've just been rattling on for another... you see these perps, they get right out my ear. Like, ooh. So I must crack on. I'll get back to you all you guys and girls as soon in the next couple of days with another video. And like I say, keep whacking your details through to me. All UK TIs or targeted survivors, please get in touch. Either get in touch with me through my channel or directly through to Kieran on TI Television. We need to get this information and this data in the book, and we also need to start linking some of you guys up to stop the isolation and break the isolation in your local vicinity. So guys and girls, until next time, stay strong, remain defiant, never give in. Tomorrow's always a new day. Get in touch, reach out, break the silence. So until next time, you all take care, and I'll catch up with you all again very, very soon. So bye for now. Take care then. Bye bye.